Okay, great. So for the ones of you that have not been here before, on usually it's the first Monday, but because of the holiday, we're doing it today. We do what we call the mindset call. And this is about something that we hear a lot of, from our students or people that we interact on the group that, they're maybe struggling with, or some things that I feel like maybe are helpful to everybody. So the topic today is how to finally have a breakthrough and then keep up the momentum. One of the things I want to say, sometime, and I know too, I'm listening to mindset every day. I always work on it. And, after years of doing this, it's very rare that I hear something new. But at the same token, you hear it, sometimes it has to come in from a different direction, or it has to come in at a time in your life where you feel like, resonates with you more. Because I remember back in the 80s reading Think and Grow Rich, and that did not resonate with me at all. Just like, so just far off the left field. It was not even something I would consider. And so then I picked up the book a few years ago, and actually now I found it simplistic in a way, because I've been reading on that type of things for a long time. But, again, different authors, different people, different messages get you through you different. So that's why, even if it seems repetitive, is sometime, somewhere, you're going to get something that's going to click and make sense for you. Okay, and so what I'm going to share with you this evening is not particularly new, but hopefully it will give you some type of aha moment, right? One of the things is, let's talk first of all about having a breakthrough. One of the favorite quotes that I like, it says, your breaking point is your breakthrough point, right? So meaning that you're going to get to a point in your life, in your career, in anything that you do. Hold on, let me switch my microphone. It might be a little better. So there's something that will happen in your life that's it. You've had enough. You want to make a change. A lot of us get comfortable in whatever we're doing. Even if we wanted to have a different life, or we wanted to do something different, or we would like to have more money, whatever the case might be. But at the same token, we know where we are right now, and we're comfortable with it. We're comfortable with, the job that we have. We're comfortable in having the money that we expect every month. We're just comfortable, right? And that's why when you get to a point that, you just have to walk away from it. When you get to a point, it's like, I would prefer living under a bridge if I have to do this one more day. That's when you have your breakthrough, right? So you have to get to the breaking point. And I know a lot of us have been there. Could be that we've been there in a relationship. We were with somebody, we were married to somebody, and one day say, oh my God, no, I don't, I cannot be in this marriage any longer, right? Or you were in a situation on a job that you said, I cannot go to work one more day here. Whatever the case, I know a lot of you have had that experience. So when you get to that point, it's definitely easier to make changes. But you don't have to get to the point necessarily, okay? The easiest way is, you have to basically, if you want to make changes, drastic changes in your life, let's say that, you're sitting at home and you have the job, and you say, oh my God, I wish I could travel the world and work from anywhere and not have any bills and don't have an 8 to 5 and do all this. Well, you also have to become a different person. Okay, you have to become somebody else. Albert Einstein said insanity is doing the same things and expecting different results, right? And so that's the same thing here, so you can't expect to be 100% where you are right now, doing what you're doing right now, if you want to live a separate life or a different life. So you have to go back and, realize, to me, the easiest way to make some changes sometime are exterior changes, okay? So it could be, I know, some of you know my story when I rented that dumpster and I cleared out my house, of 17 years of baggage, and, I just cleared and made room. Or even in an office, come into an office and redo your office, purge your closets, things of that nature, more exterior. Or even yourself, you said, I wish I get a different haircut, or I had a different type of wardrobe, or whatever you want to do differently by yourself. Those are exterior changes, but those exterior changes also help you to have a new identity. Let's face it, sometimes if you dress a certain way, and we're mainly women here tonight. We do have some guys, so I apologize for that if I say something here that doesn't pertain to you. But even if we had, different, we put different dress on and put makeup on, and we get a haircut, it just, you feel different just because that, right? So feel of that, So if you take exterior things like that, can do such a big change. Just imagine what other things can do. Okay. So start picking up new habits. Instead of saying, oh, someday I'm going to blank, someday is now. And maybe start with something simple as, rearrange your office, rearrange your house, throw away a bunch of stuff, start purging things away. There's another thing that happens when you start purging things, you actually shift energy. Okay, so you shift the energy. So by just cleaning up your office, I know that whenever I feel stuck in something, I start purging the garage, or or my closets or something, rearrange my garage. And that seems to free up a lot of other things, or right now, I'm trying to scale down. I'm trying to say, I don't need all this stuff, right? So the thing is, just by doing that, I see things shifting. So one of the things I want to say is start with something that is exterior to you, and then move to the interior. It's like when you're going to a rehab of a house, right? I always say you always start from the outside and then you move in. You want to make sure the roof is fixed. You want to make sure the walls, the foundation, all the stuff is fixed, and then you work on the inside, because why would I go in and start painting and everything else if I still have leaks on the roof, So that's the thing that you have to think about yourself. You're like a house. And so maybe start from the outside, exterior things, and then move more and more towards the inside. If for you it's hard to really move to the inside, and maybe everything on the outside is fine, you are in your dream house and you like the clothes you wear, and there is nothing there in your house that you want to rearrange. Maybe you have OCD in the first place, so nothing is out of place, so that's fine. And then start really thinking, what do I have to change within myself? Because the brain and the subconscious are the hardest things to reprogram and change. Okay, they're programmed to keep you safe. They're programmed to keep you within a certain comfort zone. So whenever you have some new idea, that's why you have all this little voice and negative self-talk that says, no, you don't need to do that. Why would you do that? Why you want to go there? And so that's why we have to really work on that. Okay. And so another thing. So for example, going back to when I started really this journey about self-discovery, honestly, what happened is in 2007, when the housing crisis happened and the world as I knew it in real estate changed overnight, well, not overnight, but the signs were there, but I was in denial for a long time. And then the people that I was really trusting the most in the business were the ones that betrayed me the most. Well, they also betrayed themselves, because a couple of them ended up in jail. But the thing is, everything collapsed around me. And so I had to sit back for a moment and figure out, okay, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do next? I got to the point where I didn't even want to be in real estate. And so for a couple of years, I really didn't do anything real estate related. When I came back in 2009, because honestly, I needed to start making money again, I was running out of my funds. So I started doing things. But then at that point also, I realized that I was a different person. It was kind of a big humbling experience that got me to where I was before, to what I became after 2009, and realizing that I was not the same person that I was before. And those things that were important for me before were not important for me anymore. So what I had to do. So in the process, when I back into real estate and I started doing deals again, started making money, and I went heavy into short sales. But in that process, I always found out that I was a different person and my goals were different and I wanted to live a different life. My priorities have shifted altogether on a personal level as much as the professional level. And so I had to, and that took a few years after that to really kind of grasp the realization. Some things that were very, that looking back now were really crucial for me that made some big changes was, number one is the people I started associating myself with. I started going around a circle of people that were more inspiring to me at that point in my life. Some spiritual groups, some mindset groups. I went into, I found on Meetup. Meetup is a good source, by the way. I found on Meetup some groups that were business owners that were looking more into more spirituality, I guess, after the collapse of 2007. So I started hanging around these different type of people and individual. And so that was one of the first things I did. The other thing that I did was, the second thing that I did was really honestly, this came a few years later, purging my house. I wish I would have done it sooner, now that I know. But when I decided that I was going to rent this huge roofing dumpster and put it in my driveway, and literally I had three piles. I had the dumpster, junk, and then I had the Goodwill, and then I had eBay or Craigslist, anything of value, right? And I went through this and I really cleared everything up. This was also because at that point I decided I was going to sell my house that I've been there for a long time. And I was going to move to Florida, right, from the Midwest. So the other thing I would say, moving geographically was very important for me. It really pushed me out of my comfort zone. It pushed me to grow as a person. And also, I realized, obviously, moving from St. Louis to Florida, everything went up twice or three times. I mean, whatever. At that point, my mortgage in St. Louis was very minimum compared to what I was going to pay in rent in Florida. It was less than half. And I had owned the house for a long time. So, I bought back in the 90s. But with that said, I was like, I had to push myself because now I needed to make more money. I needed to definitely make more money. So that helped me to really grow into a different person and, push myself over the limit. So moving geographically, renting a dumpster, associating myself with the right people. I think those were the three crucial things that I did to really get myself to be a different person. Then obviously when you move down here, because moving geographically came with the fact that when I moved down here, I said, oh my God, all my wardrobe is burgundy, black, and dark brown, and I'm in Florida, right? So, so I was like, I gave away all my clothes and I decided I was gonna start wearing bright clothes like I'm wearing today, So I started wearing, everything changed from that point on, even stuff like that. Same thing with the furniture. I had also this furniture. There was this dark espresso color, and now I came to Florida. I said, oh, I like Tommy Bahama furniture, so I started redoing my house. So things like that, it changed, not overnight, but it changed. But then it also changed me into the person I wanted to be, so moving to Florida, then I realized I had other interests, I had other hobby, I associated with different people. So it really helped me to bring a persona, which also, even from an income point of view, you push yourself to the another envelope, because let's say if in the Midwest, you can live comfortably at $10,000 a month, here in Florida, where I live, but you can't. So, it's just like, okay, now I push myself that I need to raise my income and expectations, on what I'm doing. So it really changed everything the way I was doing, okay? So one of the things that can help you, and then we're going to shift into the momentum. One of the things that can also help you during the breakthrough is number one, like I said, you work on the exterior stuff. Number two, then you start moving interior and you just do, like say, work on visualization. What helps me a lot is visualization, okay? Seeing yourself living the life that you want to live, down to the details, but also feeling that, if you want to travel and you imagine yourself working from Airbnbs around the world and into your real estate business while you travel and do everything else, really feel how would that feel like? You know, how would it feel be to the south of France and work in the morning and then go to the market and then come back and work maybe in the afternoon while everybody's taking a nap, you know? And so how would that feel to have that type of life, right? How would you live that life? So you have to go in and really feel and live in the details. The other thing is it takes 30 days to change a habit. Okay, keep that in mind. So, you know, if there are some habits are harder than others, right? So, you know, for example, but you have to give 30 days. And if you stick past 3 weeks, you know, 21 days, it's more likely you're going to make it. Okay, the first 2-3 weeks are the worst. So, for example, if you set yourself, okay, I want to go for, you know, walk every day, or I want to get a new hobby, or I want to change the way I eat, or whatever you're going to do, or get up earlier, you know, you have to really stick with it for the first 2-3 weeks. And it's going to be hard, right? It's going to be very hard. It's like when you do a diet, they always say the first 3 weeks are the hardest. So then if you make it over the first 3 weeks, then it gets easier. So that's the thing. So when you do a habit, the first 3 weeks are hard. There's no doubt about it. But then the benefits are going to be there for you to stay. You know, when it's like, you know, it's like when you floss your teeth or brush your teeth every night, you know, you wouldn't imagine going to bed without brushing your teeth, right? Or you feel really super guilty if you don't one night. So the thing is, it's the same thing, you know, so these habits grow so ingrained in you. So visualization is also being something for me to change and rewire my subconscious. Something that there is a book, it's called Creative Visualization, and pick it up, it's on Amazon. Really good book. I own it, and I've read it several times over the years. And that's really being honest, powerful for me. You know, just to go to that place that you enjoy. You know, have your go-to place. It could be a location in nature. It could be a building or some place that you know you've been really happy there before. And so I always start going to that place. And so if you go, for example, on my website, lauralameri.com, and you see the lighthouse on my header of the website, trust me, that's my favorite place, okay? That's the Cape Florida Lighthouse, which is at the end of Key Biscayne here in Miami. That's my go-to place. That's the place that when they give me general anesthesia, and they say, think of a nice place you want to be. Well, that's it. Okay, so you guys know. And so find a place. And so whenever you get depressed, discouraged, and everything else, you mentally go there. Okay, you mentally go there. So that's the thing that's very resourceful. So kind of you pivot, changing point for whatever frustration you have right now. So now let's switch back to momentum. So you start having a breakthrough, you start doing things are moving in the right direction for you. And now how do you keep in the momentum, right? It's like changing in habits is the hardest things because you have to do it for 3 or 4 weeks. Also getting the momentum is going. It's like, you know, you're behind a car that you're trying to push and this car is flat dead and you push it. But then once it starts getting going, you know, it's actually hard to stop, right? So that's the same thing the momentum is. And actually, if you get in front of the car, when the car starts going, you're probably going to get hurt. So the thing is the same thing. Building the momentum is like pushing an old car. In the beginning, you have to do things. It's harder. You have to get it going. But when you get going, then you keep going. Like, that's why I say to my students when they start posting, hey, you know, I got the property under contract, or I've sold this deal and all this stuff. I tell them, I said, okay, now keep going. Okay, you put the contract under a contract today, go out there and do another one. Don't sit around and just say, oh my God, I can't believe I put the contract and waste that energy, the momentum. Just go out there tomorrow and get another property under contract. Okay, push yourself because you want to build this momentum, right? The best way is when you are in this happy place mentally, geographically, whatever you be, this is easier for you to actually go into the next step in your life, you know, to try to visualize or to try to build from a place of hopelessness, despair. It's hard. if not impossible. If you're right now, you're down and it's like, you're negative, you have a lot going on, try to get out of that state first. Okay, then from that state, then you can go into really, you can't build a momentum if you are right now negative and hopeless, So that's the thing, you have to get yourself at least out of that hole first. And then you can visualize, then things are really going to gain speed and momentum. Okay, so that's why I say when you are having something positive going on in your life, milk it, and that's where you need to get going. So we talked about having the new habits and the new identity. Now, one of the things I also notice is that a lot of time when you start getting things going, you have this breakthrough and you start having the momentum going, then there is fear. There is the fear of failure, but even more important, the fear of success. And that one is even, because fear of failure, to me, you can kind of conquer it a little easier, because once you start gaining the knowledge and you see things happening, you can kind of prove it to yourself and you step out of it. The problem is with fear of success is when you see yourself becoming this different person, having this new identity, living this different life, making more money, having the things that you actually have dreamed and your goals, then you start getting this fear of saying, oh my gosh, now my life is going to change as I know it. These people are not going to be around me anymore. I actually have to make new goals for myself. So that's the fear of success, is really letting go and really embracing the fact that you are moving in a different direction. You're going to be a different person, and that's okay. And when I mean different, I don't mean you as a person, there is no excuse for arrogance or being rude or not being kind. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you just, living a different type of life, the life that you want, like if you want to live in a different place, or you want to have a different house, you want a different lifestyle, your time to be your own during the day, or traveling more, or helping people, whatever you want to do, you are that person. I'm not saying you as a character to change. I hate when people, when they start making money, then they become something else, right? That one, there's no excuse for, and I will never endorse that. I'm just saying you as a person, because the thing is, you can't help other people until you help yourself first. As women, a lot of time we're trying to be, we're nurturing and we want to help other people, and we don't help ourselves. But what that does, it puts you in a position where you can't even help other people if you can't help yourself first. So that's the thing, it's like a lot of time you don't realize that other people live by your example. Your children, your grandchildren, your family, your friends, yeah, in the beginning they might say, what's she trying to do? Who's she trying to be? But then again, they're gonna say, oh, she's doing something. She's being, so, you realize other people live by your example, so you become a leader in that place. But the fear of success, I think, is honestly what I see the most in my students, more than the fear of failure. Fear of failure, they conquer it once they start doing deals and stuff like that. But then it's so, oh my God, my life is changing, and now what? What do I do? Who am I? And that's why it's very important that you keep your goal in mind, and goals to me are moving targets. You're going to change in your new identity, in your new venture as you're going to change who you are. I mean, you're going to change your goals. Okay. So what you think is important, trust me, if today your goal is to make $10,000 a month, once you reach the $10,000, it will be 20. One is 20 is 50. Then, because you have this money, you say, why am I driving this car? I should be driving that car, or why am I doing this? Instead of staying, at this hotel, I'm going to stay at this other hotels from now on. So there are things like that change, obviously, because you're changing things in your life. And that's fine, so, but have your goals and accept the fact that they're moving targets. Okay, they're going to move moving targets, but that's okay. Because to me, I was actually talking with my husband today, and I was like, life for me is a journey, right? We're never going to get there. Where are we going to get to? The day we're going to get somewhere, we're going to die. Okay. If that's the only destination that we have, for sure. But everything else is a journey. And, embrace the fact that it's a journey, right? You get on a road trip and you don't know what's going to happen along the way. You're going to make the best of it. And hopefully you get to, whatever you want safely. And the other last thing I want to say, and then I would like to take some sharing here and some questions, is be careful about self-sabotage. We are so good at that, right? We are so good at really sabotaging ourselves. And we don't do it, I think, consciously. We are doing it because, again, keeping us safe. Our brain and subconscious wants to keep us safe. So self-sabotage is a huge one. And I want to say to everybody here, we all have 24-hour days. I don't think anyone here has an hour less or an hour more than I do or anybody else. And if we want to see the top, Jeff Bezos or any of the top billionaires in the world, millionaire is not the big thing anymore. That's easy. It's the billionaire part that people are going. And they're saying in this lifetime, we're probably going to see the first trillionaire. But the thing is, they had 24 hours like you, identical. So you have to really see at one point, okay? And, yeah, granted, then we say to ourselves, well, yeah, but, when you start making all the money, then you have other problems. You have to pay more taxes and stuff like that. Yeah, well, all relative, to what type of life you want to live too. But the thing is, they all have 24 hours a day. So, a lot of you get lost in the weeds of doing things every day in a small scale. And you're never going to probably, I wouldn't say never. You're going to accomplish certain goals, but you're also going to hit certain ceilings. I certainly did. I came from this old school of saying, I'll do everything I myself and nobody's going to do it as good as I am. And I hit the ceiling, after 10, 15 years in the real estate business, I got to the point where I hit the ceiling. And, at that point, honestly, I was okay with that just because I always wanted to keep myself safe, right? I didn't really want to change things too drastically in my life. And that goes beyond because of other things and personal life and so forth. Was I happy? Yes and no. I was content for what I don't think I appreciated what I had enough. I wasn't grateful for what I've had. And now going back, I was like, what was wrong with me? I should have been so grateful already. But the thing is, I also wanted to keep myself safe. I also wanted not to change things in my life, in my personal life, in my business life. I was okay with it. But I knew my potential was there and I could have done so much more. But at the same token, I definitely did a lot of self-sabotage. And that's why I'm aware of it now. And that's why I want to bring it to your attention so that you can spot that before it becomes, when are you going to be okay with everything? Never. You're always going to change. You're always going to have different dreams. You're always going to have different goals. And that's part of human nature. Okay. Because the day you're going to come to be consistently content with everything, either you're a monk and you live up in the mountains in Tibet, or you're on your deathbed, okay? And you look back at your life and says, I'm ready to go. So those are honestly the only two times that you're gonna be totally fine with where you are. Anywhere else in between, at different degrees, you're gonna want to change some things, okay? That's part of where we are as humans. So great, well, I would like to take